Chapter 91. Everyone, take a break. You are listening at Audio. Our respected President Chen. As the host's voice fell, they knew who was leading the way. A group of employees applauded and shouted. Boss is mighty, boss is generous, boss is awesome, boss we love you. Chen Mo was still smiling. After all, these employees were praising him, but when the last sentence sounded, his expression froze instantly. Looking at the group of big men shouting vigorously below, he felt a chill in his heart. Damn it, a sports meeting, couldn't it turn these male employees into gays? Thinking of this, he quickly reached out to stop the shouting of the group of employees below. He was really afraid that these guys would shout vigorously and say something like they wanted to give birth to a baby for him. Of course, the shouting gradually faded away, and Chen Mo casually took 2 more expensive coupons. This money could go into his small treasury. Next, there were a few people who received awards, including Wang Maoyan and Wei Yan. These guys signed up for a race walking event, so the points were still behind him, and Wang Maoyan, that guy, got the place he expected, and took the last place in the race walk, with a total score of only 1 point. This guy, who jogs every morning to exercise, only got 1 point. It's really outrageous. It seems that he needs to practice hard when he goes back, with Wang Maoyan, the last one, receiving the reward. This exercise ended successfully. Wang Maoyan looked at the 2 coupons in his hand, full of emotion. This was the first time he won an award in a sports event since he was a child. Working for Mr. Chen is really different. Mr. Chen, it's not even 4 o'clock yet. How do you arrange it? Do you all go back to the company temporarily? Chen Mo walked to Chen Mo and asked in a low voice. At this time, the employees were ready to leave, but it was not yet the real time to get off work. Whatever, it's time to get off work today. If they want to go back to the company, they can go back as a big customer. If they don't want to go back to the company, they can do it freely. Chen Mo replied without thinking. Why go back to the company? Work? It's a beautiful dream. All of them should rest. Okay, Mr. Chen. Chen Mo turned and left, and soon the cheers of the employees rang out again. Mr. Chen. Chen Mo was about to leave, but was stopped by a voice again. He turned around and saw that it was Jiang Cheng. Is there anything? It's like this, Mr. Chen. 2 flat cars in the workshop have been malfunctioning recently. I checked and found that several important parts are aging. I want to apply for replacement parts. Jiang Cheng said carefully. In fact, many machines in the workshop have had problems, but he has repaired some of them. Only those 2 machines cannot be repaired because the parts are too aging. The only solution is to replace the parts, so he just took this opportunity to mention it to Mr. Chen. Oh, for this matter, just ask the finance department for approval. It's just a few parts of the machine, and it doesn't cost much money. It can be approved directly from the finance department, Chen Mo thought in his heart, but soon thought of something. He still has more than 3 million system funds that have not been spent. The workshop machine has problems. Isn't it a good opportunity to spend the system funds? Repairs don't cost much. He can replace it, a new one, an expensive one. Wait a minute. Seeing Jiang Cheng was about to turn around and leave, he hurriedly stopped him. That machine is not repaired. Jiang Cheng was a little anxious when he heard this. If it is not repaired, the workshop will lose 2 machines. The orders received by the business department have begun to increase in recent days. If their production volume cannot complete the orders from the business department, according to Mr. Chen's rules, the business department needs to temporarily stop accepting orders in this situation. Although Mr. Chen said that the company will compensate the salesperson and it will not affect the salesperson's income, but this will also affect the company's income, which is not the situation he wants to see. Jiang Cheng was about to tell this situation when he heard Mr. Chen speak again. I think the machines in our workshop are all old, so why not just replace them with new ones? Frequent maintenance is not the right thing. You can calculate how much it will cost if all the machines in the workshop are replaced with new ones. Okay, Mr. Chen. Jiang Qing nodded hurriedly after hearing this, and then he understood why Mr. Chen did not repair the machines. It turned out that he was planning to replace them with new ones. If all the machines in the workshop are replaced with new ones, then the efficiency will definitely be improved, so that it will not affect the salesman's orders. It is estimated that Mr. Chen has thought about this a long time ago. Tomorrow is Saturday and Sunday, and he can go to the machinery trading market to look at the machines. He has some understanding of the machines. Some new machines look like they have many functions, but if they are really bought, they are not suitable at all, so only by going there in person to take a look and feel them can you know which machine is most suitable. Watching Jiang Qing leave, Chen Mo breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, he found another way to spend money. This Saturday and Sunday, he can rest at ease. On the bus back to the company, Jiang Qing sat in the seat thinking about the machine, and Wu Yu suddenly sat over. Brother Jiang, I want to know how many orders the workshop can still handle. We need to check, otherwise if our sales department receives too many orders, it will be troublesome if the workshop cannot complete the work on time. Hearing Wu Yu's words, Jiang Qing came back to his senses and smiled. Originally, the orders you received were close to saturation in the workshop. But just now, Mr. Chen said that he was going to replace all the machines in the workshop with new ones. If they are new machines, the efficiency of the workshop will at least increase by 30%, so you can rest assured to take the order. Is that so? Then I'm relieved. Mr. Chen is still Mr. Chen. I guess he saw that the number of orders in our business department has increased recently and he is worried that the workshop can't supply them. He has already thought about replacing the equipment. Wu Yu couldn't help but sigh. In this way, they can continue to run business on Saturdays and Sundays, no need to worry about the output of the workshop. I think so too. I just asked Mr. Chen about the machine maintenance. Mr. Chen directly said the plan to replace all the machines. Obviously, he has already had plans in this regard. Jiang Qing echoed. As night fell. The student dormitory of a certain university, a young man rushed in a hurry. Brothers, let's take a break tomorrow and find a place to relax. The dormitory was quiet, with only the sound of keyboards and mice. Duan Mingyuan looked at his roommates and found that they were all playing games in front of the computer. Curiously, he walked behind one of them and took a look. Fuck, isn't this Tianlong? Why are you playing this game? Chapter 92. You guys are playing this rubbish game too. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Duan Mingyuan looked at the game interface played by his roommate and exclaimed, he played Tianlong 3 years ago. It was very popular at the time. He even deposited nearly 10,000 yuan in this game. Later, after several major updates, this game gradually turned into a gold-based game. If you want to become more powerful, you have to top up your money, and even if you recharge, you will only become more powerful temporarily. Those equipment will be constantly updated, and you want to continue to maintain your dominance, you must continue to recharge and buy new equipment. He is not a rich second generation, so it is simply impossible for him to buy one piece of equipment every time it is updated. Later, I gradually stopped playing. He didn't expect that his roommates were actually playing this game. Tuko, have you ever played this game? Duan Mingyuan's exclamation just now finally attracted the attention of the three roommates, and they all turned their heads to look over. Of course I have played it before. I was a team leader in the union back then. So do you still have an account? I just quit the game at that time and didn't cancel my account. I should still have it. Duan Mingyuan said with some uncertainty that he had not played for 3 years and did not know whether the game company had deleted his account. Then get on board quickly and let me take a look. One of the roommates spoke impatiently. This game is just a money-making game. You can't play it without money. Why do you think of playing this game? Duan Mingyuan looked at the three roommates and reminded them, he was tricked into paying 10,000 yuan back then, but now that he thinks about it, he couldn't buy anything with that 10,000 yuan. You take the number first and then talk. The roommate stood up, pressed Duan Mingyuan directly onto his seat, and logged out of his game account at the same time. The other two roommates also stood up and came closer. Duan Mingyuan was confused as to why these roommates were so concerned about his game account. However, looking at the expectant looks of his three roommates, he still logged in to his account on the login interface. Soon the game was successfully logged in. It seemed that the game developer did not take back his account. Wait until you enter the character interface. Before he could watch, the heads of the 3 roommates moved directly in front of the computer, blocking his view. I'll go, level 100. The equipment is enough for farming. Noble level 7, Tuko, your account is fine. The 3 of them sighed one after another, and then all turned their heads to look at him. Brother Yuan, take us to level up. As he spoke, he even called me brother. This game is really not good, so let's choose another game to play. Duan Mingyuan was a little helpless, wondering what was going on with these 3 roommates. Brother Yuan, we are not here to play games, but to make money. You don't know, there is a guy next door who broke out a piece of equipment in this game, and it was immediately bought for 15,000. Now that guy is so angry that he has to add 2 chicken drumsticks to his rice. And also got a new mobile phone. A roommate spoke vividly, with a hint of envy in his eyes. Really or not? Duan Mingyuan looked at the 3 roommates in confusion. When did Tianlong's equipment become so valuable? He remembered that when he was playing, the equipment that could be traded were relatively low level and simply not as good as the equipment that could be bought with money. Why did we lie to you? Check out the game forum. A roommate said while opening a game forum. Duan Mingyuan looked over curiously and found the most popular posts. High-end purchase of dragon-slaying suit, 15,000 yuan apiece, no deception. Maximum level account power leveling upgrade, 50 in 1 day, and you can reach level 80 in 3 days. Rent a Tianlong account above level 80 at a high price, the price is guaranteed, and the payment can be made on a daily or weekly basis. Duan Mingyuan clicked on a few more posts, looked at them, and finally figured out the whole story. It turned out that Tianlong had updated a new piece of equipment. For some unknown reason, someone was charging this equipment at a high price. To acquire this set of equipment, the minimum level is 80. After thinking about this, Duan Mingyuan looked up at his 3 roommates. So, you want me to take you to level up? Right. The 3 roommates nodded together. The 3 of them had been grinding all morning and had only reached level 30. However, the upgrade became slower as they went later. If there was no large player to bring with them for leveling, I don't know how long it would take to reach level 80. At this time, Mingyuan had a large account. Although it was not a full level account of level 140, it was more than enough to help them level up and practice their accounts. Is this so? Duan Mingyuan looked at the 3 roommates and smiled. It's not impossible to take you to level up. The 3 of you can have a meal each, or you can call me Daddy. Dad. Duan Mingyuan. On the second day, early morning. Come on, I'll take you to the city today to buy 2 new clothes. It's better not to go. I heard that clothes in the city are quite expensive. If it's more expensive, it's more expensive. I don't buy it often. I have to have clothes that I can use when I go out in the future. The entrance of the clothing factory, a middle-aged man and woman were talking quietly. Let's go, the car is arriving. Jiang Qing did not wait for his wife to refuse, and rushed out of the industrial park with his wife. Today he was going to go to the machinery market to look at the machines, but then he thought that he hadn't taken his wife out for a walk for a long time. He didn't have much income before. Now that his income has increased, he naturally wants to take her out for a walk, so he got up early, so that he would have time to go for a walk after looking at the machines. Lao Jiang. Just when he was about to reach the entrance of the industrial park, he heard someone calling his name. Jiang Qing turned his head to look. Lao Lu, it's you. What a coincidence. Who is this? Lu Zhenghua approached and his eyes fell on Jiang Cheng's wife. Since he had never seen Jiang Cheng's wife, he didn't recognize her casually. Oh, let me introduce you, this is my wife. She also comes to work in the company now, doing cleaning in the cafeteria. Jiang Qing introduced with a smile on his face. In the past, he could not go home several times a year, and at most he would video chat with his wife on his mobile phone. Now he and his wife work in the same place, and the staff dormitory will be completed soon. He and his wife can also have a couple's room, which is beautiful when compared with their previous life. Lu Zhenguo looked at Jiang Qing with a smile on his face and felt a little envious. He had already found out some time ago that the benefits such as the 2-day weekend that Jiang Qing mentioned were real. And the employee cafeteria, the food there is simply incomparable to other factories, and I heard that there was an employee sports meeting yesterday, and the prizes were very tempting. It is said that one person who got the last place also won 2 household appliances. If this kind of thing happened before, he would never believe it, but now it is really happening in front of him. Thinking of this, Lu Zhenguo looked at Jiang Qing with a flattering smile. Old Jiang, I heard that you are now the workshop director. Can you help me arrange a position? Chapter 93 Unauthorized overtime is not allowed. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. After hearing what Lu Zhenguo said, Jiang Qing fell silent. After a while, he slowly raised his head. Old Lu, I'm really sorry. The workshop is already saturated with employees. There is no extra position to add new employees. But don't worry, I will think of you first when there are vacancies in the future. Jiang Qing looked at Lu Zhenguo with an apologetic face. There are indeed no extra positions in the workshop at present, although with his current position as workshop director, he can still arrange someone to enter the workshop, but he will never do so. Mr. Chen handed the position of workshop director to him, and he must live up to Mr. Chen's trust. Even if Lu Zhenguo is his friend, he will not abuse his power for personal gain and do things that harm the interests of the company. When Lu Zhenguo heard Jiang Qing's refusal, his expression was a little lonely, but he still believed that the workshop was saturated with employees. After all, how could there be any vacancies in such a good job? Well, remember me when there are vacancies in the future. Don't worry, Lao Lu, I will find you as soon as there are vacancies. Jiang Qing promised. In the old city community, a small truck stopped at the door of a unit. Yang Dehai jumped out of the co-pilot and directed the movers to move the appliances in the truck down. Move to the 4th floor, door number 2. Several movers heard this and began to move the appliances upstairs. 4th floor, room number 2. Chen Mo had just finished the lunch brought by Aunt Dong downstairs, and when he was hesitating about what to do, there was a knock on the door. Could it be Yang Duo? I have lived here for a while, because Yang Duo often comes to deliver meals, and I have long been familiar with him. Sometimes when I don't want to study, I sneak to him, with him as a shield. Aunt Dong can't do anything. Chen Mo thought to himself, walked to the door and slowly opened it. However, what caught his eyes was a large cardboard box brought by a person. A head popped out from behind the cardboard box and looked at him and asked, "Hello, where is this refrigerator?" Refrigerator. Chen Mo looked puzzled. Did you send it to the wrong place? I didn't buy a refrigerator. The mover was stunned for a moment and looked up at the door number. It was room 2 on the 4th floor. No, it's here. At this moment, Yang Dehai's voice came from. Mr. Chen, no, I asked them to move it here. Brother Yang, what are you doing? Chen Mo looked at Yang Dehai in confusion, but he had some guesses in his mind. Mr. Chen, these are all prizes won in the sports meeting, and we have all these things at home. But your place is too empty, and there is no configuration, so we decided to move these things here. Mr. Chen, you can use them normally. Yang Dehai said cheerfully. He discussed this matter with Dong Hong last night. They also came to Chen Mo's place and knew that Chen Mo's room did not even have the most basic supporting appliances, so they unanimously decided to use the prizes won in the sports meeting in Chen Mo's house. Regardless of whether Mr. Chen can use them or not, at least they will feel much more at ease by doing this. After all, the two of them only participated in 2 events in the sports meeting, and then won 4 prizes. It was too simple, which made them feel very unreal. Brother Yang, I remember that the finance department was on holiday these 2 days, and there is no place to exchange these coupons. Chen Mo suddenly thought that he had gone off work after the sports meeting yesterday. Mr. Chen, we haven't asked the finance department to redeem the prizes yet. We bought them with our own money first. But the coupons are in our hands. We can just go to the finance department to exchange them on Monday. It's not a big deal. Chen Mo was still a little moved when he heard Yang Dehai's words, although he gave out these prizes, since they have been given to Yang Dehai, they actually belong to Yang Dehai's family. At this time, Yang Dehai brought these prizes to him, which meant that he had sent out his things, watching the movers move the electrical appliances into the house bit by bit. There are exactly 4 electrical appliances: refrigerator, washing machine, color TV, and air conditioner, then several more. Installers came in and installed all the electrical appliances that needed to be installed, such as air conditioners. Looking at the changes in the house, Chen Mo couldn't help but sigh that if he had more employees like this, he wouldn't have to live so poorly. The holiday passed in a flash. Chen Mo sat leisurely in the office, holding the coffee that Chen Ro had just made, thinking about how to spend the 3 million system funds. Dong dong dong. There was a knock on the office door. "Mr. Chen, I have already inspected the machine." Jiang Qing pushed the door open and walked in, putting the information in his hand on Chen Mo's desk. "So soon, the inspection is finished." Chen Mo looked at the schedule on the table in surprise. He remembered that he arranged Jiang Qing to inspect the machine during the sports meeting, but he had a holiday after the sports meeting. He only started working today. How could he inspect the machine so quickly? Hearing Mr. Chen's question, Jiang Qing hurriedly explained. "Mr. Chen, I took my wife out shopping on the weekend, and I visited the machinery trading market." Chen Mo frowned subconsciously when he heard this. This was considered working overtime without permission. Fortunately, he went to investigate the machine. If he went out to make money for him, it would be troublesome. However, it is better to warn him. He looked at Jiang Qing with some seriousness. "Jiang Qing, your behavior is considered working overtime without permission. You are not allowed to do this in the future, understand? All work matters must be done during working hours." "I understand, Mr. Chen." Jiang Qing nodded obediently when he heard this. Looking at Jiang Qing's appearance, Chen Mo nodded and looked down at the information sent by Jiang Qing. The price of each machine was recorded on it, and it was also accompanied by photos and uses. However, all his attention was on the price. As for the photos and uses, he didn't even look at them. He frowned only after seeing the price. He found that these machines were not very expensive. The cheapest ones were only 45,000 yuan, and there were about 10,000 yuan. The most expensive one was a machine for cutting back pockets, which cost 60,000 yuan. After replacing the whole set, he only spent more than 500,000 yuan, which is a long way from more than 3 million. It doesn't meet his consumption expectations at all. He estimated that he would spend at least 2 million this time. It stands to reason that the machine should be very expensive. Why is there only this little money? Jiang Qing probably chose cheap machines. "Jiang Qing, isn't there a more expensive machine?" Chapter 94, We are determined to win the 8 million this time. You are listening at novelfull.audio. "Mr. Chen, there are more expensive machines, but according to the current scale of our workshop, this configuration is enough. There is no need to replace more expensive ones." Jiang Qing explained. Chen Mo breathed a sigh of relief when he heard that there were more expensive machines. "You can replace all the machines in the workshop according to the highest configuration. You can estimate how much it will cost. But Mr. Chen, some of those machines have functions that our current workshop can't use at all." "It doesn't matter. Our clothing workshop can't be this big. It will be expanded sooner or later. Those unused functions will be used sooner or later." Chen Mo waved his hand. Would he care about the functions of those machines? He cares about the price. Jiang Qing saw that Mr. Chen had made a decision. He pondered for a moment before speaking. "Mr. Chen, if we buy all the machines according to the highest configuration, it will cost about 1.4 million. Can't it be higher?" "Mr. Chen, there are more expensive machines, but those machines occupy a large area. With the current scale of our workshop, we can't afford them. Then let's go with the configuration of 1.4 million. You can go find Li Shen to purchase the machines together." Hearing Jiang Qing say this, Chen Mo nodded helplessly. It seems that this is the only way, but Jiang Qing's words just now reminded him of the scale of the workshop. If he rents a larger workshop, he can invest in a batch of more machines and recruit a batch of new employees, which is a huge expense, but if the scale of the workshop is expanded, according to the regulations of the system, the business department must also recruit more staff accordingly, but the key is that the 3 salesmen now are already enough to give him a headache. If he recruits a few more salesmen, he doesn't know what will happen. Chen Mo hesitated a little, whether to expand the scale of the factory. Forget it, anyway, there is only more than 1.7 million yuan left in the system funds, and there is still a month left, so it should be no problem to spend it. The expansion of the factory can be a backup plan. If there is any change, it can be used to spend money. Thinking of this, Chen Mo smiled confidently and had this backup spending plan. Through the previous failures, he now deeply realized that if he wants to settle successfully, he must always be vigilant, and take corresponding measures for the previous failures. He has already notified the business department in advance to stagger the payment on the settlement day. In addition, all unknown payments in the company must be approved by him, so it will not happen again that Wei Yan will sell the backlog of clothes and make private payments. He has made the most perfect preparations for everything. I can't think of any other reason for his settlement failure. This time, he is determined to win the 8 million Qinglin decoration. In the conference room, Supervisor Chibu stood on the podium with an unconcealable smile on his face. Today, I mainly announce 2 things. The first thing is that the performance evaluation of this quarter has come out. Among several branches in Jiangqing City, Wang Yang from our branch won the quarterly sales champion. Everyone applaud and welcome Wang Yang to the stage. In the conference room, applause rang out. Wang Yang walked up to the podium with a nervous look on his face. To be honest, he still doesn't understand how he suddenly became the quarterly sales champion. It was too easy. Xiao Yang, keep working hard. Chibu looked at Wang Yang, who was walking up, and smiled as he handed the honorary certificate that he had prepared long ago to Wang Yang. Wang Yang thanked him and took the certificate, only to see the words quarterly champion written on it. Thank you, Director Qi. You're welcome. This is what you deserve, and in addition to the honorary certificate, you will also have a cash reward of 5,000. Chibu said, and handed another red envelope to Wang Yang. Wang Yang looked at the thick stack of cash red envelopes and smiled unconsciously. Next, a few more photos were taken, and Wang Yang returned to his seat. Wait until Wang Yang sat down, Manager Qi continued. The next thing to talk about is the second thing, which is that Chen Jun signed a villa order yesterday, with a budget of 1.2 million for decoration. As long as he works hard and signs some other small orders this quarter, it is estimated that there will be no problem in winning the sales champion this quarter. So everyone should work hard and follow Chen Jun and Wang Yang. After the meeting, Wang Yang walked to Chen Jun and congratulated him. Congratulations, Brother Jun. You should also work hard and try to sign a few more orders this month, but this month's quarterly champion will be mine. Chen Jun patted Wang Yang on the shoulder. Looking like an older brother, he followed up on this villa order for a month, and even changed the design drawing several times, and only then did he sign the order completely yesterday. 1.2 million, as long as he signs a few more small orders and raises the performance to 1.5 million, the sales champion this quarter is basically stable. By the way, how is the renovation of your staff dormitory going? It's been a long time. Is it not finished yet? It's finished. It will be finished in the next few days. Wang Yang sat aside, feeling a little anxious. 2 decoration orders were almost completed, but he had no new orders. As expected, the luck factor of the previous 2 orders was too high, and he still needed to improve his business ability. Luck is not always there. Garment factory, office. Shen Ro walked in from outside and came to Chen Mo's desk. Mr. Chen, the decoration of the staff dormitory is almost finished. I would like to ask you to go there for the final acceptance. Oh, is it almost finished? Go and have a look. Chen Mo became interested after hearing this. He had been to the decoration of the staff dormitory several times before, but the previous times were to see the decoration materials. When he arrived at the door of the staff dormitory, the leader of the decoration team was already waiting there. Seeing Chen Mo coming, he hurried to greet him. Mr. Chen, the debris inside has been almost cleaned up, and it can be accepted. Yes. Chen Mo nodded and walked into the staff dormitory. He randomly chose a room and walked in. After a careful inspection, the decoration team was still very responsible and cleaned up every dead corner in the room. The decoration layout was also done according to the decoration plan. The bed, wardrobe, TV, air conditioner, water heater, and washing machine were all fully equipped. He walked through several rooms in succession and found that there was no problem. He notified the decoration team to finish. Back in the office, Chen Mo sat in the armchair, thought about it, and suddenly found that there seemed to be a place to spend money in the staff dormitory. He immediately picked up the phone and called Li Shen. Chapter 95. The disciple of a traitor is also a traitor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mr. Chen, what are your orders? Soon after, Li Shen came to the office, looking ready for help at any time. Ever since Mr. Chen refuted his side job of making lunch boxes, he has basically returned to doing nothing. I do have something to tell you. Jiang Cheng has already talked to you about purchasing machines. Chen Mo looked at Li Shen with a smile. Well, Brother Jiang has already found me this morning. We have already contacted the machinery factory. We will go over to check the machine tomorrow. If there are no problems, we can put it back into use. Mr. Chen, is there any change in this matter? Li Shen looked at Mr. Chen doubtfully. You can just do this normally, but when you go to buy machines tomorrow, you can also buy some daily necessities. It's easy to tell. Mr. Chen, what daily necessities do you want to buy? It turned out that I was just buying some daily necessities. Li Shen was a little disappointed, thinking it was something big. After hearing Li Shen's question, Chen Mo opened his mouth to explain. It's not for me, it's for the employees in the workshop. Now the employee dormitories have been built. I just went over to take a look. There are still many things in the dormitory that are not equipped. Li Shen was confused when he heard Mr. Chen's words. He also went to see the staff dormitory. It was basically fully equipped. As long as it was ventilated for 10 days and a half, the workers could move in with their bags. Is there anything else that needs to be equipped? Chen Mo looked at Li Shen's confused look and continued to speak. I see that there are no sweeping tools in the dormitory. In order to keep the indoor hygiene clean, cleaning tools are indispensable. It turns out to be this. Li Shen suddenly realized that he didn't expect Mr. Chen to even think of these things. He was so careful. He quickly spoke up. Don't worry, Mr. Chen, I will buy more brooms and mops tomorrow. No, don't buy a broom and a mop. Isn't there a fully automatic floor scrubber that combines washing, mopping and suctioning? Just buy that one. I need one in every room. But Mr. Chen, that floor washing machine seems very expensive. One costs several thousand yuan. It doesn't matter, just buy a floor washing machine. This can save some time cleaning the house and allow employees to have more time to rest. Only when employees have enough rest can they have better energy to work, right? Chen Mo waved his hand and thought to himself that he bought it just because it was expensive. Okay, Mr. Chen. Li Shen nodded. Mr. Chen, are there any other matters that need to be handled? There are also network issues. The data used by employees after get off work is definitely not enough, so they must be connected to the internet. However, considering that there are too many people in the dormitory and the network is stuck, a few more network cables must be connected. Well, you just have to follow the standard arrangement of 2 dormitories sharing one network port. The network speed is also very important. Choose gigabit network speed for all. Okay, that's all, just follow this request. After Chen Mo finished speaking, he sat back on his seat and looked at Li Shen. Okay, Mr. Chen. Li Shen responded and left the office. In the office, Chen Mo secretly calculated that the cost of the floor scrubber and network cables would cost more than 100,000 yuan. Good, although it's not too much, it's a small step forward from running out of money. Check the time, 4:30 p.m., that there's only half an hour left before getting off work. After thinking about it, I was ready to open the Tianlong game and have a blast. There was a knock on the office door. Wu Yu poked his head in and walked in, with a faint smile on his face. Seeing Wu Yu like this, Chen Mo's heart skipped a beat. This look was so familiar to him that his throat surged and his voice became hoarse. How many did you pick up? Mr. Chen's eyes were indeed very sharp, and he could tell at a glance that I had accepted the order. Not much this time. I only took a small order worth 100,000 yuan. However, Kai Jing also took an order worth 100,000 yuan. The total is 200,000 yuan. Wu Yu laughed twice. You have such a glaring look on your face, you have this expression every time you come over to take an order. During this period, you have come to the office 8 times instead of 10 times. Chen Mo gritted his teeth and thought, he had just spent 100,000 yuan, and in the blink of an eye he had received an order for 200,000 yuan from me. As expected, if there is a teacher, there must be a disciple. The disciple of the anti-bone boy is still an anti-bone boy. Looking at Wu Yu with a smile on his face, the more he thought about it, the angrier he became. Is it easy for me to spend money so hard? That Wu Yu, you took first place in the sports meeting. I think your physical fitness is quite good. Your master used to be the leader in the morning training, but since your master was transferred to Tsangshui Games, this position of leader has been vacant. You can fill this position starting tomorrow. But Mr. Chen, I have to go to work tomorrow morning. That Wu Yu heard Mr. Chen's words and hurriedly spoke. Leading requires running every day, and after running, you will definitely not be able to see customers if you are covered in sweat. You need to at least take a shower before setting off, but this wastes a lot of time. If he is not leading, he can do morning exercises every 3 days. He just finished his morning exercises today, so he does not need morning exercises tomorrow. He is preparing to leave early tomorrow and see 1 or 2 more clients. After hearing Wu Yu's words. Still thinking about running business. Chen Mo secretly thought, it was indeed Wei Yan who brought him out. Xiao Wu, morning exercise is the company's corporate culture, and as for business, it's better to go after running. Okay, that Wu Yu saw that Mr. Chen was determined, so he had to agree. It seems that he should try to walk faster when doing business in the future. Watching Wu Yu leave, Chen Mo no longer had the heart to play games, including Wu Yu's recent order of 200,000, he still had to spend 1.6 million system funds to be considered enough. Does he really have to use the trump card of expanding the delivery room now? No, that this trump card is a key to whether he can settle successfully. By the way, Tsangshui Game can find a way to spend money. Chen Mo's eyes lit up. He paid too little attention to Tsangshui Game. Since he invested 500,000 in Fong Chang's new project, he has not paid much attention to it. You can go to Tsangshui Game tomorrow, maybe these system funds can be spent there. The next day, early morning, Tsangshui Game, in the office. Mr. Chen, even if all the original models and servers are of high requirements, the budget of 1.6 million will not be used. And this will also slow down the development progress of the game. Fong Chong explained after hearing Mr. Chen's request just now. It doesn't matter if the game progresses a little slower. Slow work makes fine work. What I want to make is a high-quality game. As for the 1.6 million budget game exceeding the budget, it is easy to deal with. Don't we have several other games under our company? We can invest the funds appropriately in the operation of several other games. Hearing Fong Chang's words, Chen Mo waved his hand indifferently. He thought to himself, what game progress? I don't know your details. As the general planner of the game, you planned several money-losing games for your former boss. Slow progress is nothing more than the game going online later and losing money later. Will he care about this? Chapter 96. I am the mastermind behind this. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, Mr. Chen. Fong Chong agreed when he heard Mr. Chen say that. He began to think in his heart. With so much financial support, he could try out some of the more difficult settings he had before. Originally, he wanted to wait until the game was launched to see how the response was before deciding whether to add them. Now it seems that they can be added in advance. Okay, you guys get busy, I'll leave first. Chen Mo stood up and prepared to leave. Since the money had been spent, there was no need to stay here. Fong Chong saw Mr. Chen preparing to leave, and hurriedly spoke. Wait a minute, Mr. Chen. Anything else? Chen Mo turned his head and looked at Fong Chong. Fong Chong smiled when he heard Mr. Chen's question. Mr. Chen, there is indeed one thing, but it's a good thing. What good thing? Chen Mo frowned slightly. Based on his experience for so long, the good things they said were definitely not good things. It's the game Tianlong. Recently, the traffic has suddenly increased dramatically. Recently, many players have spent money in the game. At this time, Tianlong has begun to make a profit. Although it is not much, if it continues, the profit will definitely increase. Of course, all this is still due to the cleverness of Mr. Chen. First, he mobilized the desire to win among the local tyrants, and then adjusted the equipment rate to the lowest, so that the local tyrants could not get equipment, and finally they could only ask others to help them get equipment. Mr. Chen's trick is really wonderful, Fang Chang said to himself, looking at Mr. Chen with admiration. During this period, Zhao Bowen has been paying attention to the situation of Tianlong Games, and also used the company's game account to enter the game and personally inquire about it. Finally, he understood what was going on, and he finally understood what Mr. Chen wanted the game account for. It turned out that Mr. Chen was a shill himself. They had arranged game shills before, but they were all used to stimulate consumption. Since the game lost money, they basically withdrew the shills. After all, asking for shills also costs money. Chen Mo was a little confused when listening to Fang Chang's words. I have clever means, what did I do? And Tianlong has returned to a profitable state, what's going on? Wait a minute, what's the matter with Tianlong's profitability? Fang Chang looked at Chen's face with a look of ignorance, and his admiration in his eyes became stronger. He was the one who brought Tianlong to life, but now he began to pretend not to admit it. This is the so-called, brush off the clothes after the matter is done, and hide the merits and fame, but since Chen didn't want to admit it, he didn't expose it. He pretended to cooperate and told the whole story again. Chen Mo's eyes were a little black when he heard Fang Chang's story, and he slowly sat down on the chair with the help of the table. Tianlong is profitable. And the real behind-the-scenes mastermind turned out to be himself. I don't know how long it took. Chen Mo gradually came back to his senses and let out a long breath. He just thought it through. It seems that the matter is not as serious as he thought, and the people who come in now are all gold farmers. These people don't really want to play the game, they just want to drop equipment by brushing the wild, and then sell it for money. But the rich man who collects equipment cannot collect equipment indefinitely. When the rich man has collected enough equipment and no one wants to buy equipment, these people will slowly quit the game. At that time, Tianlong will return to the previous state of loss. After thinking this through, Chen Mo finally breathed a sigh of relief. Mr. Chen, what should we do next? Fang Chang saw that Mr. Chen had been silent all the time, so he asked tentatively. Chen Mo looked up at Fang Chang, wanted to say something, opened his mouth and finally closed it, and took Chen Mo away from Zhangxue game. He suddenly thought of a problem. He almost revived the game by playing the game casually. If he gave a few more commands, would he accidentally revive the game completely? That would be troublesome. After thinking about it, he felt that he could not intervene. Anyway, when the rich man had collected enough equipment, those gold-making tribes and studios would gradually disappear. Just deal with it coldly. Fang Chang scratched his head, looking at Mr. Chen, who seemed to be hesitant to speak, and was confused. What on earth does Mr. Chen mean by this? He didn't even tell him how to deal with the Tianlong game. After thinking for a long time, he couldn't guess what Mr. Chen meant. Helplessly, he could only seek Wei Yan's help. In the entire Zhangxue game, it is estimated that only Wei Yan can understand what Mr. Chen means. After a while, Wei Yan walked in from outside. Manager Fang, what's the matter? Mr. Chen just came, you know. I know, isn't he going to talk to you about the new project? I just learned about the game industry. If it's about the project, I can't help at all. Hearing this, Wei Yan thought Fang Chang wanted to talk to him about the new project. It's not about the new project, it's about Tianlong game. Fang Chang explained, and then recounted what happened just now. Then he looked up at Wei Yan. Tell me, what on earth does Mr. Chen mean by this? So it's this matter. After listening to Fang Chang's description, Wei Yan looked as if he had suddenly realized something. This matter is actually very simple. Ah. Do you know what Mr. Chen means? Fang Chang looked at Wei Yan in surprise. He had been thinking for a long time but still couldn't figure out what Mr. Chen's last expression meant. Did Wei Yan understand Mr. Chen's intention just by listening to him? Wei Yan looked at Fang Chang's surprised expression, smiled slightly, and then began to analyze. Look, Tianlong can have such a good situation now. Is it the result of Mr. Chen's silent efforts alone? Yes. Fang Chang nodded in agreement. Tianlong can make a profit. It is all Mr. Chen who personally acted as a trustee and changed it, there is no doubt about this. So you say that Mr. Chen has changed the game to this extent. You still want to ask Mr. Chen what to do next. Is this reasonable? The boss is the boss after all. He can show us the way and give us a general direction. What we need to do is to continue to study and make progress according to the direction given by the boss. Otherwise, if the boss has to do everything himself, then what is the meaning of our existence? Wei Yan finished his story slowly and looked at Fang Chang opposite. Fang Chang's eyes gradually brightened when he heard this, and it was like a revelation, he understood. Yes, I am the manager of the company and the chief planner of the game. Mr. Chen has quietly changed Tianlong to what it is now, and he just asked Mr. Chen what to do next. It would be strange if Mr. Chen would pay attention to him, so what he has to do now is to completely revive the current Tianlong. Thinking of this, Fang Chang looked at Wei Yan with excitement. Chapter 98, Don't be arrogant when you win, and don't be discouraged when you lose. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mr. Chen, do you have a cold? Chen Mo asked worriedly when she saw Chen Mo sneezing. It's okay, maybe the air conditioner in the car is blowing too cold. Chen Mo waved his hand and walked into the company. Back to the office, Chen Mo directly turned on the computer and entered Tianlong's game. After not playing this game for a few days, he wanted to see what he had become. Enter the game. As soon as they appeared in the birthplace, they saw two figures hurriedly walking past, heading straight for the wild. This. Chen Mo was a little stunned. In the past, he could not meet anyone in his birthplace. Today, he just entered the game and met two people. Did it change so quickly? Look to the public chat channel in the lower left corner. I saw the originally deserted chat channel, but the subtitles were scrolling one after another at this time. It was impossible to see what was being said, and it was covered up by the next message. Curious, he clicked on the public chat channel. Tianhua Studio, collect the dragon-slaying suit, 10,000 pieces, no one can deceive anyone. The boss who is at full level leads the team to level up, 30 days a day. The Rhino group in the north of the city, the captain will lead the team to clear the jungle 24 hours a day without rest. You can follow and hang up, and the dropped equipment will be randomly distributed. The team entry fee is 40 per day, and there are 2 pits. Chen Mo looked at the subtitles one by one, with black lines on his head. These barrages still look like they were empty before. Close the chat room, control the game character to go to the wild. The scene in the wild is even more lively, and players can be seen everywhere running around, either in the wild or on the way to the wild. See this scene. Chen Mo completely believed that this game was completely profitable. But it's okay, these people are just selling their equipment to earn money, and they don't really want to play. When the equipment collectors acquire the equipment, the game will almost return to its previous loss-making state. But I can't do any operations myself, Chen Mo thought to himself, and then quit the game directly. Looking at the game icon of Tianlong, I finally chose to uninstall it directly. What kind of game are you playing? If you keep playing, your 8 million will be gone. Mr. Chen, your water. Shen Ro came over with water and happened to see Mr. Chen uninstalling the Tianlong game. I couldn't help but feel a little moved in my heart. She had occasionally seen Mr. Chen playing games before, and thought Mr. Chen wanted to relax because he was bored, but today at Sangshui Games, she realized that Mr. Chen was not playing games, but trying to find a way to turn a money-losing game into a profit. Mr. Chen did it. However, Mr. Chen was not happy and complacent, but calmly uninstalled the game. Don't be arrogant in victory and don't be discouraged in defeat. In this aspect alone, he is far inferior to him. It seems that I still need to study more in many aspects. Chen Mo casually took the water glass handed over by Shen Ro and took a sip. Hey. What's the brew this time? Isn't it the smell of coffee? But he raised his head and looked at Chen Ro doubtfully. Mr. Chen, I didn't make coffee. This is a cold medicine, which can prevent colds. Shen Ro hurriedly explained. Mr. Chen sneezed twice just now. She was worried about catching a cold, so she made a cup of cold medicine. "Oh, thank you." Chen Mo smiled and thanked him. Although he didn't feel like he had a cold, the cold medicine was only for prevention, and there was no harm in drinking one cup. Looking at the few thousand system funds left, I finally relaxed. Tianlong was also a false alarm, and now the business department is a bit tricky. These three newcomers in the business department have been taking orders more and more frequently recently. It seems that we need to think of a way to curb it, otherwise, every once in 3 days, I will give you a small order of 100,000 or 200,000, which alone is not a lot, but accumulated, it is also a large amount, but what can be done? It will definitely not work to forcibly prevent people from running the business, and it will be judged as a violation. Chen Mo fell into deep thought. Industrial Park Office Building. In the park manager's office. Li Mao looked at the middle-aged man in front of him with a troubled expression. It was agreed at the time that I would give you a preferential price after renting it for 5 years. Now that you have only rented it for 2 years, you no longer want to rent it. What do you want me to do? You have to wait for me to find such a big factory. Go home. Brotherly, you also know that it's not that I don't want to rent it, but you also know the current situation of the factory in the past 2 years. The annual rent for the nearly 1,000 square meter double-story factory building alone is 600,000. But now that factory is having trouble even making a profit. Even if I continue to rent it, I won't have the money to continue paying the rent. That the middle-aged man said with a sad face that he was very high-spirited back then. In order to make the factory bigger and stronger, he directly rented a factory building with an area of 1,000 square meters, with 2 floors of nearly 2,000 square meters, but he never expected that the economic downturn in the past 2 years had caused the factory to not make any money at all. Coupled with such expensive rent, he simply could not afford it, so he had no choice but to retire the factory. Li Mao looked at the middle-aged man's haggard appearance and let out a long sigh. After being a park manager for so many years, he has seen many things like this. This is not so bad. Some bosses have lost everything. How about this? I will charge you 1 month's rent. If I find a buyer within this month, I can return the deposit in full. If I can't find a buyer, I can only return part of it. He can only do this step. According to the contract, the deposit cannot be returned. Okay, then I'll trouble you. The middle-aged man hesitated for a moment and nodded. In the afternoon, several large trucks slowly stopped at the door of the workshop, and various garment-making machines were neatly placed in the carriages. Brother Jiang, you direct them to send the machine tools into the workshop, and pull out the old machine tools and place them outside. I contacted the manufacturer who recycles the old machine tools. It can be sold for about 100,000 yuan, but it needs to be approved by Mr. Chen. Li Shen got out of the car and said to Jiang Qing. Okay, I'll be here. Jiang Qing nodded, and at the same time began to direct a forklift driver to carefully transport a machine down. Office. Li Shen knocked on the door and walked in. Have you bought all the equipment? Looking at Li Shen who came in, Chen Mo asked. Li Shen nodded, and at the signal of Mr. Chen, he sat down opposite the desk. Yes, Mr. Chen, all the machine tools have been purchased, and of course the floor scrubber and network cable have also been contacted. But there are 2 things I need to report to you. What are they? Chen Mo looked up at Li Shen. Oh, the first thing is about the replacement of the old machine tools. Chapter 99 Technical training also requires travel allowance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After those new machine tools arrived, there was no place to put the old machine tools, so I contacted a company that recycles second-hand machine tools. You can send someone over at any time to do a price assessment, but I made my own estimate and it's probably worth around 100,000 yuan. Li Shen said slowly. Chen Mo tapped his fingers on the table and tried his best to control his expression. After a while, he said in a calm tone. Okay, I know this, just go and do it. He thought of many reasons for refusing to recycle the machine, but in the end they were all refuted by the system. There is no way, the system funds will be plus 100,000. What about the second thing? Wei Yan heard this and hurriedly spoke. The second thing is that some of the new machine tools are fully automatic. Our workshop employees will not use them much and require systematic training. The manufacturers selling machine tools will provide this training for free, but our people need to go there and learn it in person. The number of training places given there is 8 to 10 people, and the duration is 20 days. During this period, they will provide food and accommodation. After hearing this, Chen Mo finally breathed a sigh of relief. It was finally not about money. Then, a flash of inspiration occurred. He was thinking about how to curb the business department from taking orders. Isn't this a great opportunity? Is it helpful for salesmen to understand the operation of machine tools in their own workshops? At least they can brag to customers about how awesome the machine tools in their own workshops are and how good the clothes they produce are. If you don't understand the operation of machine tools at all, and your bragging is unreal, how can you convince customers to place orders? So for this machine tool training, people from the sales department will also go, which is reasonable. It's best if all 3 salesmen go there. Chen Mo thought in his mind that in this case, no one would be running the business and there would be no order taking, but soon the system came out with a reminder that at least one person from the sales department must be left to run the business. In that case, let's send 2 people there. It seems that Wu Yu and Kai Jing have received the most orders in the past 2 months, so let's send them there to study. Thinking of this, he spoke directly. We should add Wu Yu and Kai Jing from the business department to the training list, and then the workshop will select 8 people. I understand, Mr. Chen. Li Shen nodded and did not ask why people from the business department were added. Mr. Chen would naturally have a reason for doing so. By the way, Mr. Chen, 8 people have been transferred from the workshop for training. In addition, only a few people can use the new machine. The next production progress may drop a lot. When Chen Mo heard this, he smiled slightly. This was a good thing, he couldn't ask for it more. It doesn't matter, but these 10 people who go out to study are also considered to be on a business trip, so naturally they will be given some business trip subsidies. Mr. Chen, they provide room and board over there, and it's just for study. There's no need for subsidies. Li Shen reminded him that he had already communicated with the people over there, and that all meals and lodging were included, and he was also responsible for transportation back and forth. There was no place to spend money at all. Li Shen, why is there no subsidy? If the food provided there is too poor and the employees are not used to it, do they need to go outside to improve it? Otherwise, how can they concentrate on studying if they don't have enough food? One day doesn't count. Even if you go out to eat twice, and one meal costs 100 yuan, the food subsidy for the day is 200 yuan. And if you go out to eat, you have to take a taxi, and the distance has to be far or near, so it counts as one day the taxi fare is 200 yuan. And there will definitely be some other invisible expenses. If you calculate it this way, let's calculate it as 500 per person per day. Chen Mo secretly calculated in his mind that one person would receive 500 yuan a day and 10 people would receive 20 days. The subsidy spent was exactly 100,000 yuan, which was offset by the money spent on recycling old machine tools. Good, the money has been spent, and 2 members of the sales department have also been transferred. As a result, there will be only 1 salesperson left in the company, and the order volume is expected to be greatly reduced. It really kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Time passes, soon it was time to get off work. A group of employees rushed to the company canteen in groups. Brother Jiang, I heard that the staff dormitory has been completed. Well, the finishing touches have been completed. It will be ventilated for a while and then you can move in. Jiang Qing heard his colleague's question and answered. Then after dinner, come over and take a look. One employee suggested, with anticipation in his eyes, wondering what the employee dormitories would look like. I heard that 2 people living in a room is at least better than 6 people living in a room now. Can. Jiang Qing nodded. He also wanted to see what the new staff dormitory looked like. After a dinner, the employees in the workshop rushed towards the staff dormitory. Even the group of people who wanted to go to the lounge to play after dinner stopped playing and all rushed to the staff dormitory. Come to the door of the staff dormitory. Everyone couldn't wait to go in and start visiting. This corridor is nice, the lights are very bright. Hey, let me go. Is this a staff dormitory? An employee pushed the door into a dormitory and exclaimed. Immediately afterwards, several more exclamations came from other rooms. Jiang Qing listened to the exclamations and pushed open a dormitory door and walked in. When he saw the layout inside, he was stunned. He guessed that the staff dormitory would be good, but he never thought that it would be so good. Even TV dramas and air conditioners were prepared. When he opened the bathroom, the toilet, water heater and shower were all complete. Although they were not very big, they were enough for 2 people. There was also a large double bed and a thick mattress in the bedroom. Even the standard room in the hotel would only have this configuration, and all the electrical appliances in the room were well-known brands, and they were not cheap. This environment is simply a small home. Wife, I didn't lie to you, this room has a double bed, it should be a couple's room, we will live here in the future. I said that Mr. Chen is very good to his employees, now you have seen it. Jiang Qing turned his head to look at his wife and said with some pride. At that time, he asked her to come over, but she was unwilling. Wang Wan was dumbfounded when she saw the layout of the dormitory. She still couldn't believe what Jiang Qing said. Is this really for us to live in? Looking at the electrical appliances in the room and the double bed that didn't look cheap, is this really for them to live in? Of course, didn't you see the 4 big words staff dormitory on the door when you came in? This is the dormitory that Mr. Chen built for us employees. I'm telling you, you should work hard in the cafeteria. If I see that it's not cleaned up, I'll clean you up when I come back at night. Wang Wan looked at Jiang Qing's somewhat swollen expression and snorted. Can you do it? Chapter 100 Chen Cong, I was targeted by the game. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiang Qing's expression stiffened when he heard this, and he said weakly. I'm talking seriously. I didn't say anything else, and the company's treatment is so good, I will naturally cherish it. Wang Wan rolled her eyes at Jiang Qing and began to visit the dormitory. The next day, Zhang Xuegame, Fang Chang, Wei Yan and several key employees of the company came to the company's meeting room early. Is the announcement ready? Fang Chang looked at Zhao Bowen and asked. Zhao Bowen yawned and said a little tiredly when he heard this. It's all done. The changes to the game in the future and various benefits are all written on it. In order to speed up the progress of the game, he wrote the announcement overnight when he went home last night. Thank you for your hard work. Fang Chang patted Zhao Bowen on the shoulder. There was no way the company did not allow overtime, so he could only go home to work, but he only asked Zhao Bowen to do it alone, he did not ask other employees to do so. After all, it was a rule set by President Chen so that those employees could have enough rest. If he asked them to go home to work overtime, it would be no different from before. Okay, since the announcement is ready, we will make an update package and release the announcement as soon as possible so that those players can know some changes in the game as soon as possible. The next thing is the game equipment. Group 1, those equipment that replace those nobles should be completed at least half today. Just make some fine-tuning and color adjustments on the original modeling. Is there any problem? Fang Chang set his eyes on the leader of Group 1. Manager Fang, half of the replacement equipment has been completed, and the other half can be completed today. The leader of Group 1 replied. Finished? Wasn't it a task arranged yesterday afternoon? Fang Chang turned his head and looked at the leader of Group 1 in confusion. The leader of Group 1 said a little embarrassedly when he heard Fang Chang's question. Yesterday, I heard from Manager Zhao that this matter was a bit urgent and related to the life and death of Tianlong Games. I went back and discussed it with the team members, so I went back to work overtime privately at night. After all, Mr. Chen is very good to us. Since Mr. Chen changed the policy, we really haven't worked overtime for a day. Mr. Chen has done this for us. As employees, we are willing to work overtime for him. Fang Chang was moved by such words. In the past, he had never seen an employee who took the initiative to work overtime in the company. Sure enough, Mr. Chen's company has a different charm, and since the end of the sports meeting, these people have undergone slight changes, and they have begun to accept the company sincerely. In the past, these people thought that if they work a day and earn a day's money, the life and death of the company has nothing to do with them. Now the mentality has become that I am a part of the company. And there is an invisible connection. now he finally understands why Mr. Chen distributed such generous gifts at the sports meeting. This is undoubtedly to win the hearts of employees, it's just that this method is too expensive, and some bosses are reluctant to do it. After all, there are honest laborers. If you don't want to work, I will change you. Fong Chong thought of this and retracted his thoughts, turning to look at Group 2. Then you, Group 2, must adjust and balance the value of the low-level wild monster experience and the explosion rate of the free equipment. Director Fong, our Group 2 also worked a small shift last night, so this work has been completed. The leader of Group 2 said shyly. One of their members in Group 2 is a friend of a member of Group 1. When they heard that Group 1 was going to work overtime privately, they naturally would not lag behind. Working overtime for Mr. Chen. It's not shameful. Fong Chang's mouth twitched when he heard this, and then he cast his eyes on the leader of Group 3. Before he could ask, the leader of Group 3 had already said with a smile. I suddenly realized that the feeling of secretly working overtime is quite good. So accidentally, yesterday's arrangement has been completed. Okay. There were 3 teams in total, all of which took the initiative to work overtime at night and completed today's tasks ahead of schedule. Fong Chong sighed, and then remembered something. I didn't ask you to work overtime. That if Mr. Chen mistakenly thought that he asked these employees to work overtime, it would be a disaster. Don't worry, Director Fong, we understand overtime. Several team leaders said in unison with a smile on their faces. Fong Chong and several team leaders were confused, not knowing what they understood. However, since today's tasks have been completed, let's arrange tomorrow's tasks. After all, the faster the speed of updating Tianlong, the better. Fong Chong thought in his heart and began to arrange today's tasks. Find a progress development, and in 3 days, the initial plan of Tianlong can be changed and completed, then quickly go online to let those players feel the changes of Tianlong as soon as possible. In a rental house, Jiang Jiu looked at his ring and shed excited tears. After such a long time, he finally got the second equipment, dragon slaying ring. It's really not easy. Jiang Jiu sighed and stood up to wash his face and refresh himself. Just as he stood up and moved his feet, he heard a crackling sound under his feet. Looking down, I saw a lot of Red Bull cans rolling on the ground. After thinking for a while, I kicked all the Red Bull cans aside and walked into the bathroom. After a simple wash, I called Brother Hao directly. Since the equipment exploded, it is natural to cash it in as soon as possible. I don't know if Brother Hao received this ring. If he didn't receive it, this time he got another 50,000 yuan. Not long after, Jiang Jiu looked at the 50,000 yuan in his hand and laughed happily. It was worth his hard work for so long. First clean up, take a rest, and then continue. In a luxurious villa, Chen Song looked at the dragon-slaying ring he had just received, and then looked at the game character. At this time, there were only 6 pieces of dragon-slaying series equipment, and he fell into silence. For so long, he collected a total of 8 pieces of equipment, 2 of which were duplicates, so he only had 6 different pieces of equipment. At this moment, he felt deep malice in this game. These game equipment are so difficult to brush. For the first time, I felt like I wanted to spend money, but I couldn't. If Mei Yuqian hadn't announced the acquisition of equipment in various game groups and forums, I'm afraid I wouldn't even be able to collect 6 different equipment now. I don't know when I can collect all the equipment and find that person to avenge my previous shame. Chen Song sighed and suddenly found a new announcement in the game. This made him feel a little novel, because this game hasn't released an announcement for a long time. Curiously, he clicked on the announcement.